Right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, this is going to be a collective message. These are the ones where, if you would like to make a suggestion on whatever topic you would like the collective message to be about, you can make a suggestion in the comment section. I choose somebody's pick every day. Today, we are going with Sheila Thomas's pick, and the topic was is a character making the right choice? And so, I thought we might broaden that just a little bit and say, just like the context of making the right choice instead of like, did I, have I, am I, but more about like, looking at it as like a positive, instead of the question mark per se. So let's go ahead and get started on this and we'll see where it goes. Thank you, Sheila. It's a great topic. All right, so here we go. We have Mother Earth feel loved and comforted. So first off, no matter what choice somebody makes, there's it's part of the journey and it's going to create growth any way we slice it. It's kind of nice to put it in this context because it's like, hey, even if it's a mistake, we'll grow from it, we'll learn from it. So it's not necessarily like if we say, am I making the right choice? Then the alternative would be like, am I making the wrong choice? Is this terrible? Am I doing the wrong thing? And I like the fact that it's kind of like we begin with this wonderful, comforting message of, hey, the only way to grow is to put ourselves out there and to try. And so it's kind of like this reassurance that whether our character makes the right choice or not, they're still going to be loved and cherished and respected. They belong here, whether they make the right choice or not on something. And to feel comforted in knowing that this is part of the process, that their choices and how they impact the collective are also important. So I like that. That's really kind of a comforting message to begin with. All right, now let's do a dive. Let's see. I think I want to go. Let's go this route. Okay, tell me about this. Okay, so we have a Knight of Cups. And this one always makes me laugh only because sometimes I go, has someone acted like a horse's backside? This is about love. It's about emotion. Um, this almost feels like someone is questioning, like, when I make the right choice, is it to walk away from someone who is not walking toward me, or is it is this right for me to walk away from something that I actually have an emotion about? Well, Queen of Wands. Okay, so the quick answer is yes. Right choice in the sense that a Queen of Wands weighs the pros and cons. If they walk away from something, even something that they want, it's because they're disciplined. It's because they thought about the pros and the cons. And mostly it's because they said, I can't live a life where I acquiesce to things that my spirit will not actually be happy with. So to make the right choice means something different to a Queen of Wands. A Queen of Wands says, it has to suit me. It has to fit my requirements. Otherwise, I will basically become a doormat. I have, a list of criteria. She's not as much of a giver or an overgiver as, like, say, a Queen of Pentacles. She's not as emotional about things as, say, a Queen of Cups. And she's also not cold about things the way a Queen of Swords would just be pure logic. She's able to say, I always feel like she has the best self esteem out of any of the queens simply because she comes from a place of it's warm. She's warm, but she also expects that, you know, let's put it this way, animals know when they need to go do things for themselves, right? Um, if they need to drink, they need to eat, they need to go, lay in the sun for a little bit, they listen to that and they don't feel guilty about it. Because I look at a Queen of Wands as a little bit more primal, um, just being that wand energy, it comes from desire. She has the desire to be, satisfied, but to also be kind, but to also be real. And so if she's looking at something and she says, even if I want it, even if I love it, I know it still will not actually be enough for me, then I can still say no to it because it doesn't meet my criteria. Now, that's not her being cold and logical, though. That's her having discipline, even though she also has desire. And that I think is the beauty of what a queen or a king is, right? They can control their urges. They can look at something and say, just because I want it doesn't mean it's going to be good for me. Just because I want it doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So I'm going to have to be able to acknowledge that. But in this case, it's working to her advantage. Eight of Wands. This is about what direction a character takes. And this is about forging ahead, moving forward, trusting that whatever choice a character makes in this storyline, it's to not become stagnant. It's to make the choice and then be at peace and move on instead of be racked with indecisive energy. A Queen of Wands is not very indecisive because she boils it down to, but do I want that? Will I be frustrated and dissatisfied if I accept less than what I actually want? She's also the kind who would say, look, I want this person, but they really aren't able to give me the things that I also would need to be satisfied. So rather than be with someone where I go, I really want you, but I want you to be X, Y, and Z, she goes, I want this person, but I also need X, Y, and Z, and this person doesn't have it. Therefore, they're not my person. They're somebody else's person. I accept it and I move on. Or, I really wanted to work at this job, but it doesn't have a 401k. So as much as I wanted to work for this company, I can't do it because it doesn't fit into what I need to be building for myself. She will make a decision, but from a place of desire. It doesn't mean she doesn't care. It doesn't mean she doesn't see the value in something, but she also isn't going to lower her value standards for what she needs. And that's not to say she's picking apart, well, you're not good enough for me. No, it's the reverse. It's that subtle nuance of saying you are wonderful just as you are. I personally, though, have other needs, and my needs are just as important. So onward I go. And it is like to keep moving. So instead of ruminating too much on a choice that's already been made from a place of knowing oneself, if this character were in huge mental conflict, instead of being an upright queen, I would be like, oh, okay, so maybe she's not content with the choice she's making. Maybe she's making it out of a feeling of guilt. Maybe she's making it out of a feeling of like, I guess I have to do this, but I don't want to. No. She actually does want to make this decision. And I think maybe that's the answer. She actually wants to make this decision to turn her back even on something that she wanted because it isn't enough. So she wants to make a decision to go toward things that will be enough, whether that's jobs, whether that's locations, whether that's, I'll give an example that's totally different here. When you travel, there's all kinds of different places that you can stay. When you are new to an area or go to a foreign country, you don't know the town, you don't know the different hotels. Sometimes they don't look the way they looked online. And I have probably 3 or 4 times booked a place and then got there and said, oh no, this is not possible. Even the taxi driver said, I'm not taking you there. And I said, no, take me there. And he did. And he said, now I'm not letting you out of the car. And he was right. There are things that we learn throughout life. And sometimes you have to say, well, I really did want to be there, but now I see it's not going to meet my needs of, say, safety or, there's reasons to make a decision to move along. And even if it's a bummer, you still know when it's the right decision to move along because your needs aren't going to be met. I think that is it. That's the big answer on this. We got a King of Coins in the reverse. Any way we slice it, we see someone who's not able to give. We see a lack of abundance, and we have a lack of stability on a situation. And I think that's why our character is moving onward. Because it's very hard to stop and rest someplace where there is no chair to sit in. It's very hard to stop and build with someone who's not in the mindset of building, you know? It's you can't do business with a business that's not open. If let's say this was all about career, if this Queen of Wands has amazing skills, and with their amazing skills, they want to work in a Fortune 500 company, that's something they should be allowed to go ahead and do, right? Instead of be stuck working for a company that maybe doesn't have any plans to expand, doesn't have that opportunity. That's the way I would look at that. So she's moving on. Go for her. And the final message here is the moon. Will she know that it's the right choice to make? Her intuition will, even if the big brain won't. So it's onward, you know? Piscean energy there. I think she'll go just the route she's supposed to go, even though it does require a certain amount of intuition to trust one's instinct. I'm hearing all kinds of sounds. I'm sorry you see me pause because I'm hearing strange sounds, knockings and such. All right, you guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. We'll do a longer one tomorrow. I've got to go check on whatever those odd noises are. All right, take care. Bye.